Welcome back to Axis Anime. My name is Henshin Ikeda, and today I'll be doing a walkthrough review of Blast of Tempest episode 19. Now, if you remember from last episode, we actually find out Mahiro is now faced with the truth about his sister and his best friend possibly being boyfriend and girlfriend, and yet he just walks away like he doesn't want to hear about it. He literally was like, I'm just oblivious about this. I don't care. This is not true. This can't be happening. I'm like, dude, wake up. It's happening. You just don't want to see it. So we're taking to a different scene with Hakaze. Now apparently if the Tree of Genesis is responsible for Aki's death, then she wants revenge, plain and simple. She wants to stop the Tree of Genesis in general. So I was like, okay, so you definitely do have a thing for Yoshino. Now it's definitely noticeable. You can't hide it. We see it. Literally. So we're taking to a different scene toward the end of the episode with Hayakawa. Now apparently he found something at the Kusarabi village. It's like a little device. Now he mentioned something about alchemy, so possibly the Kusarabi clan can use alchemy or something along those lines, because he definitely said alchemy. And moving on past that, he also mentions the Ouroboros. And again, that's where the episode ends. And I'll hold my final thought and rating at the end of the clip, so stay tuned. But let's dive right on in. So we open up this episode with Yoshino. Now apparently Yoshino wants to tell Mahiro the truth, finally. Face to face, Yoshino wants to tell Mahiro the truth. Like, okay, that's great. So then we're taken to a different cutscene with Mahiro, and he has something to ask Yoshino. I wonder what that could be. I love that little cutscene between Yoshino and Mahiro. It was perfectly timed. However, we are taken to a different scene with Hakaze and Hanamori. Now, their fight, yet again, is being broadcasted live across the globe on, like, a news channel. And they've gone from fight to fight and just keep fighting. And Hakaze is being referred to as the Dancing Princess. So I definitely thought that was worth mentioning. But it's not really a fight. We don't get to see a really hardcore battle. It's just a cheap-ass little cutscene. So I was a little saddened by that. I was hoping for a little more hands-on action, so bear with me. However, we are taken to a different scene with Hakaze in general, and she appears right before Mrs. Yamamoto, Tetsume, and Hayakawa, because they're driving in a car, and Hakaze appears out of nowhere, and apparently she had like a barrier or something set up to stop them. And I was like, so you just couldn't call a taxi cab, or you couldn't call them by a phone or something? And seriously? You had to hijack their car? And yeah, Hakaze does join both Yamamoto, Tetsume, and Hayakawa in their car. I was like, really? Oh, you cheap bitch. You just couldn't do it the easy way. I'd do it the hard way. But I definitely thought that was worth mentioning, of course. However, she does find out about a theory that the Tree of Genesis is a super weapon. Yeah, it was kicked around. It's one of those theories that the Tree of Genesis is a super weapon. A little far-fetched, but I might believe it. However, we also find out, yeah, she is now aware of the allegations. So Hakaze is now aware of the allegations about Yoshino being the Mage of Exodus, and yet she's not surprised and she's being calm about it, which is very weird and yet awkward, because everyone was looking for a reaction and we did not get that. I don't know, I was hoping for a reaction. It's like, you think Yoshino's the Mage of Exodus? Like, she's gonna do something stupid and sporadic. No. Now we are taken to a different scene with Jinshiro, and he actually has been training with Hanamori, and he actually goes Bruce Lee on Hanamori's ass, and I love it. It was a funny scene in my opinion. Probably one of my favorite scenes throughout the episode, but I've got another one, of course, and I'll get to that later on. Now we are taken to a different scene with Hakaze. Now, she's actually a little interested in what Mrs. Yamamoto has. Apparently Mrs. Yamamoto has a theory about the Tree of Genesis, and I was kind of interested to hear more about this. Now, she does go into detail with Hakaze about her theory. Apparently, it's like the crystal skull effect from Indiana Jones with the aliens. So she believes an alien race, probably from another world, has sent this specific weapon to destroy civilizations to Earth in general. So she believes aliens sent this device to Earth just to destroy their civilization. I was like, okay, so the weapon would be called the Tree of Genesis, and it's a good theory, but it's far-fetched. Very, very, very far-fetched, but yet, I don't know, Hakaze doesn't seem to really shrug it too much, but she's still, she's open to suggestion. Now, we are taking to a different scene with Hakaze. Now, apparently she's making a request to Mrs. Yamamoto about acquiring the Samen's barrel and, of course, Mahiro's wooden doll from Mount Fuji. Now, I have no idea what she needs those items for yet. At the end of the episode, however, it does make more sense, but right now, I don't know why she wants to request those. I mean, a barrel, Samen's barrel, and Mahiro's wooden doll. What are the purposes? Why would she request that from Mrs. Yamamoto? I'll get to that later, trust me. So we are taken to a different scene. Now, we're in the graveyard where Aki's actually buried, and we see Mahiro, we see Yoshino face to face, ironically. Now, it gets even better because we find out Yoshino actually stopped off to get Mahiro something. So he actually has a gift for Mahiro, but we don't get to see what it is. But later on we find out, I believe it's food. It's a little cold though, but it's definitely something worth mentioning, a little funny in my opinion. He actually stopped and got a gift. Definitely worth mentioning. Now, we are taken to a different scene with Mahiro, and he actually is making Hamlet references, which annoy the fuck out of me, but it's perfectly timed and it makes perfect sense, so I guess it was worth hearing just this once, so bear with me. Go Hamlet. There you go, that was my Shakespeare support there. Now, apparently Mahiro wants to know about Aki's boyfriend and Yoshino's girlfriend, so he wants to know the goddamn truth. You sitting down for this? Yeah, he seems so calm. Here's the truth, he's hearing it, and he's, okay, cool. It's like, Yoshino, I can't be mad at you. I mean, you didn't hurt me, and you definitely didn't hurt my sister, but we do find out Mahiro regrets never telling his sister that he loved her. So, he's a little down about that, but he's not beating the crap out of, Yoshino, where, I'm an older brother. I might have done something along those lines, like, dude, you should have told me, man. You should have told me. But then again, I don't have a sister complex, so that probably is the other reason why I wouldn't have been that. I probably would have been calmish, a little calm as well, but still. I thought he'd be a little more sporadic and do something even more pathetic, like revenge, messed up something. I mean, he was just so calm, it was just very annoying. Now, again, toward the end of that little scene, we find out they really are really great friends. They're one and the same, both Yoshino and Mahiro. They're really good friends. I mean, to be able to put this behind them and keep going forward, wow. That's all I can say, wow. Now, we are taken to a different scene with Seimin. Now, Seimin is actually being informed that Mahiro and Yoshino have reconciled, and he feels troubled about it. Troubled about what? Friends reconciling? Dude, it happens every day. Grow the fuck up, man. I can't believe they actually called him about that. Now, moving on past that, we do find out now everyone's under the same roof. Yeah, Yoshino, Hakaze, Mahiro, Tetsume, everyone's under one freaking roof like the goddamn Brady Bunch. And they're happy? Okay, I'm sorry, that just don't make goddamn sense. They're enemies, they're friends, they're allies, they're what? This ain't the Brady Bunch. This isn't about a lady and a guy getting together. This is about a brother and sister. Sister was murdered, okay? And she was actually secretly dating her brother's best friend. And we find out, well, his best friend happens possibly to be the mage of Exodus, and a shitload of other crap. I mean, this is one hell of a story. Now, moving on past that, toward the end of the episode, we're taken to a different scene with Hakaze. Now, she actually has an interesting plan she presents to everyone. Apparently, she wants to go to the past. So she wants to go to the past. She wants to go back in time to find out who killed Aki. But again, that's where the episode ends. Final thoughts. You ready for this? Okay, well, Hakaze, if you're going back in time, why the fuck aren't you going to save Aki from dying? Wouldn't that serve a better purpose? Unless, of course, you fear that the future is going to be changed so much that you won't be able to ever meet Yoshino because you have that love interest. That's the only theory I can pull out of my ass that makes sense. If you're not going to save Aki for the right reasons, then you're going to find her killer for the wrong ones because you want to keep the relationship open with Yoshino. I mean, you want to make him happy and find the killer, but you're not going to bring his sister, Mahiro's sister back. But I don't know, it's like confusing. I mean, you want to go back in time, but you don't want to find you want to find the killer, but you don't want to stop the killer from killing Aki. Are you that infatuated with Yoshino that you'd actually put your own selfish interest first? It looks it. Now, moving on past that, I will bring this up again, the Mage of Exodus. We still don't know the real identity. I mean, yes, we know Hanamori actually is the Mage of Exodus in the body form because of the magic he uses. However, Yoshino, is he really the Mage of Exodus? I'm sorry, I just don't see it. I mean, maybe heart-wise, but I don't know. I'm not convinced. Convince me. Just please convince me. But again, that is it for my final thoughts. As per my rating, 3.5 out of 5. I want to give this a 4, and bear with me, it was definitely emotional. So my final rating has to be 3.5 out of 5. The emotion was definitely there, and that's why I loved it. But the fighting, we got screwed over. Hakaze versus Hanamori, are you freaking kidding me? We were ripped off. They had multiple fights, and we don't even get to see it out in detail. It were just cheap-ass broadcasting images and flashbacks. I don't want to see that. I want to see a real fucking fight, so no points there. And was there any new information? Okay, Mrs. Yamamoto has a theory about the Tree of Genesis. but that's about it. That's the only information. So I can't give this a 4 out of 5. And all in good faith, no. So final rating for this episode, 3.5 out of 5. But again, guys, that ends it for my walkthrough review of Blasted Tempest episode 19. Definitely comment down below. Let me know. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Definitely subscribe. Check me out on Twitter and follow me if you like. But definitely, let me know what you thought of this episode, and let me know what you think's gonna happen in the next episode that's coming out. But again, guys, I gotta hit the bricks and I gotta go. And before I go, I gotta say it, and I always say it: you can't stop the access, but you can watch the feed. I'll see you later, guys.